So these just came in. So these are the Nike Air Max 90 infrareds, or in this case, the Air Max 3 Radiant Red. So today I'm gonna be shooting these sneakers right here, and the photos will be inspired from vintage 80s and 90s Nike ads. By the way, I won't do a direct recreation of Nike's ads, so I'll be adding my own style to it. As for my shot list, I'll be taking pics of the whole shoe and some detail shots, and maybe a few more that we can think of along the way. And also, I'm gonna be showing you my post-production process. By the way, this is not sponsored by Nike. I'm just a big fan of them. I'm a big sneakerhead, and it just so happens that I'm a photographer, so it would be cool to add this to my product photography portfolio. And who knows, in the future, I might get an official sneaker photography project. Nike, what's up? Oh, and by the way, we won't be shooting at a studio. I'll be shooting at home. I apologize in advance if you hear random noises. It's because I live in a typical neighborhood here in Manila. So there's a chance that you'll hear some chickens and dogs outside. Okay.
If I take you down, would you really hold me down and be your best friend? She just wanna hit me with a quickie by the pool, and I'm like, yes, ma'am. When you got me feeling for your body, you might turn me to a yes, man. Oh yeah. 80 and I'm 40, I'm a nervous bitch, I'm flyer than your ex, man. We ain't gotta go outside.
So we won't be using any special backdrops. What we'll use instead is the floor. And we actually have a really nice floor right here in the workspace. So we'll start things off by simply just putting the shoes on the floor, and we'll use a soft diffuse light. And then from there, we're going to adjust the lighting and then the product placement until we get the shot that we like.
Gee, so baby, let's not talk about it. But I gotta know, if I take you down, would you really hold me down and be your best friend?
So for shots like these, I like to set the camera into a 2-second timer so we can avoid camera shake once we hit the shutter. So right now the bottom of the shoe is peeking a bit. So what I want to do is I'm going to put something here to lift the shoe up. So in the frame, in the photo, I just have a full flat side profile of the shoe. I also like to use manual focus for product shots so that I can make sure that the shot is really sharp. So I zoom in digitally and then just set the focus until it's sharp. There we go.
If I take you down, would you really hold me down and be your best friend?
So we've done a very basic diffuse type of lighting. So now I'll be playing around more with the shadows. I'll be changing the angle of this light and make it look like a window light or light that's coming out of an open door.
It's a really nice day, living in the right space. Breathing your grace, got me feeling some kind of way.
I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, but I want to give it a bit more pop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this light and then give it a bit of an accent lighting.
You know what you see is what you find. You just keep the peace of my mind. And you know I believe in no sign. Cause no matter where I go, it's so bright. Every day I see the sunrise.
These are looking good so far.
I don't have to walk that line. That's why I wake up and it's a very nice day, living in the right space. Breathing your grace.
Now for the shots of the details, I'll be putting these lights right here inside the shoe to make it look like it's glowing. By the way, the light I'm using is a Weeylite LED light. Link below if you want to get some. So before the shoot, I actually created a mood board here on Pinterest. And if you want to see this board right here, link below. Kudos to the photographers of these amazing works right here. To clear things up, this won't be a full-on tutorial. This is more of me showing the basic workflow of how I edit my photos. Alright guys, now that we're done with the shoot, I've now imported the shots into Lightroom and I'm going to use the software's 5-star feature to select the shots that I like. So for the decent enough shots, I'm going to set them to 3 stars. And for the shots that I really like, I'm going to set them to 5 stars. And everything in the middle, I'm going to set them into 4 stars. So to use the 5-star labeling system in Lightroom, just use the number keys on your keyboard. So select your photo. And then for this, in this case, I'll press 3 on my keyboard. And as you can see here, it will set the label to 3. And now it has 3 stars. And just continue on with the rest of the photos. So I'm done labeling my shots. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click attribute at the top right here and press 5 stars. And from there, Lightroom will filter all the 5-star labeled photos. So the first thing that I always do when it comes to editing my photos is I scroll down to lens corrections and click enable profile corrections. And what this does is it lessens any vignetting and the distortion of the lens. And next thing that I'm going to click is the remove chromatic aberration. Then after that, I press my preset and proceed to tweaking the global adjustments. And now since all of my shots here in terms of the color and the lighting are more or less the same, I'm going to sync the adjustments that I've done in the first photo with the rest of the photos. So to do that, I'm going to click my photo, the first one, and then select the rest. And then I'm going to press sync. And then the synchronized settings will appear. And I'm going to click all the adjustments that I want to be in sync with the rest of the photos. Now with this particular layout right here, I shot it in 3 different exposures. One with the right exposure, one that's a bit underexposed, and one that is slightly overexposed. And then from here, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give it a bit of an HDR look. So to do that, I'm going to select those 3 photos and go to Photo, and then Photo Merge and press HDR. And then Lightroom will process those 3 photos. And there we go. So once Lightroom is done processing, press merge. And then Lightroom will create a separate file with those 3 photos combined. Quick disclaimer, the HDR look that I went for is not the heavily filtered cartoonish look that you commonly see when you look up HDR online. I just did it enough to lift a bit of the shadows and tone down a bit of the highlights to see the details. Now for any unwanted spots or dirt in the photo, normally the healing tool of Lightroom is enough, but in this case there are a lot of dirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit it in Photoshop, because cleaning up in Photoshop is much more convenient for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my photo and click edit in and edit in Photoshop. And then Photoshop will automatically open from there. So now that I'm done cleaning this up in Photoshop, I'm just going to hit Command S on my keyboard. And then Photoshop will save it, and then Lightroom will automatically update the photo into a new file. So now that everything's been taken care of, the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select the photos that I want to export. So from all the 5-star photos right here, I'm going to press P on my keyboard to set a flag on the photos that I want to export. And to filter them out, I'm going to press the flag with the check on it. And now we see there are 6 photos ready for export. So I always export my photos into 2 sizes, the high-res files and for social media. Oh, and one more thing. I'm going to edit one of the photos in Photoshop and make it look like a legit ad from the 80s or 90s. So here are the photos.
Yeah, I'm shining bright, got me feeling like I'm next up. Feeling like I'm Curry, how I'm balling on a West Wall. If you told me back then, ooh, I never would've guessed so. Now the way I'm winning, I ain't have to cut it head, hey. I said I've been slaving, dog, let me see the money, hey. Now I'm popping, ooh, they looking at me funny, hey. I was in the rain, waiting for these sunny days. Made it through, you can tell me I don't love to say. I'm away to that show, told them pipe down, I don't need no hoe.
So that's it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you want more videos like these, please hit the like button. And please don't forget to hit subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.
I've been trying to get it, told them I'ma run it up. I don't